Morning, guys. It's about 7 a.m. here on Tuesday morning, and I've been up for 4.5 hours. Couldn't sleep last night, so I've been up since 2:30. One of those nights when your mind is racing and you just can't shut it off. And I was like, screw it, I'm just getting up. So whopping 4.5 hours sleep. We'll see how I do today. But first thing in the morning here, sun's finally coming up. Watering gardens and taking off braces off of posts I had to pour for smokehouse and stuff like that before I start work here in about an hour. But I think part of the reason I couldn't sleep last night, my mind was racing, is conversations that we had in Saturday's live stream, and then also an email I got yesterday, and got me thinking. Somebody had asked on Saturday night's live stream on my thoughts on chemtrails. And again, I've said, like I said on Saturday, I'm not sold on it, but I do believe it's out there. Okay. So last couple of days, I figured, okay, when I had some free time, I was going to do some research on this because it was an important topic. All right. Now, if you guys don't know the difference between chemtrails and contrails, okay, contrails is the evaporated or exhaust, if you will, of a plane going overhead, and chemtrails are the supposed, and I'll put that in quotes and I'll explain why, spraying of chemicals over the country. Now, I talk about Constantine and Letters to King. He did a video a week or so back, two planes coming at each other. One had a stream up behind it, the other one didn't. Now, unfortunately, you can't really tell distance, altitude when planes are up in the air. I mean, if one was 1,000 feet higher, it could be a total different atmospheric condition, and that could have been it. But I'm just speculating there. I'm just trying to set the stage a little bit here. So it was kind of interesting when I did this search, because if I did a Google search, all the first page was results on, the search results, if you will, where scientists prove, say the chemtrails all conspiracy, yada, 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 the whole way through, the whole first page, that's all it is. But if I did a DuckDuckGo search, I got completely different results. More obscure websites, let's put it this way, talking about different things with the actual chemtrails. Now, there is no question whatsoever that the U.S. military and U.S. government has been trying to manipulate weather. They said something 20, 25 years ago that their goal was to be able to control the weather by 2025. Okay. So, I mean, that's actual fact that's out there. All right. So, they've been trying to do this. Now, where it gets interesting and where I say that the scientists are all wet, okay, and if there's anything I think 2020 proved to us, is that scientists lie, and we all know the government lies, okay? I mean, if anybody disputes that, get your head out of the sand, okay? Fauci can't figure out which shoe's left and which shoe's right when he puts it on in the morning because he changes every day, 2 masks, no mask, 1 mask, yes, this, now he's getting grilled and busted for his funding of the labs. Let's just leave it at that. So, I mean, obviously the guy's about as trustworthy as a rattlesnake. So, that'll tell you what you need to know about the scientists. They're going to say what benefits them. Hey, whoever's funding them, that's the research they're going to come up with. We'll give you $1 million grant if you come up with an article that says the sky is orange. And they'll do it, okay? They'll come up with every reason in the world that the sky's not blue, that the sky's actually orange, okay? And say, but I'm a scientist, that's scientific proof. Same thing with the chemtrail stuff, okay? So as I was digging into this, and my whole point on this is food production, and this is where I say the email that I got kind of kicked me into this even a little bit further. Y'all know I have talked many times on live streams and some videos. I couldn't grow onions for my life this year. Never had a problem growing onions before, okay? Ever. Onions are pretty freaking easy to grow. 4 times I couldn't get onions to grow with seeds, okay? And I mean, this was seeds from a couple of different places, so it wasn't just one bad place. I wound up planting onion sets, so I'll get some green onions. I'm going to let some go to seed, and I'll grow my own seeds. Couldn't grow spinach. Who the hell can't grow spinach? Spinach is, leafy greens like that are about the easiest thing to grow. Put the seed in the ground and literally, unless you completely forget to water them, they'll grow. I mean, I've got volunteer lettuce coming up in one of my flower gardens in the front of the house because either the wind blew a lettuce seed last year or a bird pooped it or something like that. I got volunteer lettuce 100 yards away from my garden, okay? Just one head. I did not plant one seed of lettuce out there. So, I mean, leafy greens are about as easy to grow as you can possibly imagine. But I couldn't get spinach to grow this year. So, this goes back to the chemtrails. And the big thing that is one of the big chemical compounds in these chemtrails is aluminum, okay? Now, I find it very interesting when I did this research that Monsanto, everybody's friend Monsanto, and all their GMO seeds and stuff. Y'all know the stories I've talked about, the GMO stuff. Farmers have to sign a contract saying if they buy the seed from Monsanto or Pioneer or whoever it is, that they won't save any seed, that they'll grow the crop, let the crop grow, and then they'll buy again next year. Okay, so this is it. We, Joe Average Backyard Gardener, cannot buy GMO seed. It's not sold to the public. So when, I've said to you guys many times before, so when you see in your seed packet non-GMO, BFD, okay, they're not selling GMO seeds to us anyway. So that's like putting on there, with leprechaun flakes or whatever too. It doesn't make shit for difference. But Monsanto's GMO seeds, surprisingly, have been engineered to grow well where there's aluminum in the air, rain, and soil. Now, where would this be coming from? Believe it or not, aluminum is something that is mined, okay? And it's not super common in the United States, if you will, especially in, areas like mine, okay? There's not a whole lot of, there's no aluminum mines around here. I mean, if there was aluminum, they'd be mining it, okay? So, could it be that the reason I couldn't grow onions and the reason I couldn't grow spinach is because where those seeds were grown last year were heavily doused with chemtrails and aluminum and basically sterilized the seeds so they wouldn't grow? That's very possible, okay? And a lot of you have said in comments that you've made over the last few weeks, you couldn't get beets to grow, corn to grow, different vegetables. And I mean, obviously there's a whole lot of different places we're getting our seeds from now, Hoss Tools or Baker Creek or whatever. For the most part, they're not growing the seeds. They're getting them from a seed farmer, okay? But the seed farmer plants the seeds. It comes up in its seed pod after the plant bolts, and he sells the seeds. They don't know if they're good or not. They can test some of them, but, I can't figure that 4 different bags of onion seeds from 3 different suppliers all were bad. That just doesn't make sense. In different kinds of soil. I tried different kinds of soil as well. So the only constant in all of that was all the water was coming from my well, which has had no problem growing anything else or onions last year. So, this starts to put some credence into what people are saying with chemtrails, because there is nothing else. The soil is the same, okay? Because I even tried it in the same garden. I planted onions last year where they grew, and this year they didn't, okay? The water's the same. The seeds were varied, okay, including the same ones I bought last year, and none of them grew. So I don't understand what the point is. So I get to this. This could be a he who controls the food controls the population deal. We know about Bill Gates buying farmland. We know about these huge corporate farms, Monsanto, obviously, and trying to grow all the food, and not, many stories about you're not allowed to have a garden in your yard, HOA ordinances or city ordinances or whatever it would be. So they're trying to reduce everything that way. But the easier way to do it is to just sterilize all the seed we can get, okay? So how to do that? Well, spray chemtrails over the seed farms, okay? There's the first way to do it. And if it's got enough aluminum in it and the stuff doesn't grow, hey, great. What do you know? You've got no more seeds. So 2 things are going to be very important this year. Let some of your plants bolt, okay? And bolt means go to seed, okay? If you're growing peas, let a couple, 50 pea pods dry out on the vine, and then pick them and harvest the seeds so you have to plant next year. Green pepper should be simple. 1 green pepper is going to give you all the seeds you need for next year, okay? Tomatoes, 3 or 4 tomatoes should give you all the seeds that you need for next year, but you need to save seeds. And I'll do some videos on how to save seeds because some of them are real easy. Peas, okay, big deal. They dry out, you open it up, put it in there, done. Okay, tomatoes, a little more difficult. You got to know what you're doing. But saving seeds is going to be one of the very first things you're going to need to do this year and plan to do. And the second one is, and this is where it gets a little interesting for people, and I've got to do it too, but it gets cost prohibitive, is you need to look at some sort of greenhouse, because obviously if there's some sort of covering over your plants, then anything that's falling out of the sky doesn't fall onto your plants. So that's another option. I can't give you suggestions on greenhouses. Obviously, y'all see my garden. I don't have greenhouses, okay? But it's something to look into. There's different greenhouses are going to be effective in different areas of the country. What's going to work for me in Tennessee is not going to work for somebody up in Montana. And what works for somebody down in South Texas isn't going to work for me here. There's a whole lot of different things to do. But again, we all talk about planting food, growing food, whatever. And if they are trying, to sterilize the food supply, so the only vegetables you can get are GMO vegetables, we're screwed, okay? And then they control the people, because then, along with digital currency, you're only allowed to buy 6 ears of corn this year or this month, okay? You've already bought them, so we're going to reject that transaction. And you can't even go out and plant your own corn because that corn you buy isn't seed worthy, So there's the other thing. It'll be interesting to see how they do things, like if it is, a GMO green pepper or something, and you save the seeds and plant them. Oh my God, is the food police, the FDA, going to get deputized, and they're going to come out and go, Mr. Pinball, you have green peppers growing in your backyard. The only place you can possibly get seeds is if you planted Monsanto's GMO seeds, so therefore you're committing a crime. And I mean, is that what's next? Very possible. So this is what's been banging around in the squirrel cage here since Saturday night, the comments, everything. But I kind of wanted to talk to you about it. Like I said, I'm not an expert on chemtrails versus contrails, not at all. I think there's some validity to this, but I'm also not jumping over to the Alex Jones conspiracy theory type area either. Something for you guys to do a little bit of research on, see what you find. Obviously, when you're doing your research, do it from respected sources. There are plenty of sensationalists, let's put it this way, on websites. There are sensationalists on YouTube for sure. That'll tell you the sky is falling. I mean, every day it's screaming into the camera and telling you, oh my God, the world is ending today. And I'm waiting for them to walk around with a sandwich board saying the end of the world is nigh, and that'll be their next live stream. But take a look into this yourself. Check, double check, triple check the sources that you get it from. Make sure it's good information. But I wanted to give you that one for a second video for Tuesday. It's a Tuesday morning here. So have a good one, y'all. We'll see you tonight at the live stream. Pinball out.